for the co-main and main event of UFC 317 International Fight Week in Las Vegas. Don't know if you guys follow a lot of MMA journalists, but Kevin Iole announced that this is his last fight coverage ever. He's going to retire. That kind of came as a shock to me. So I wish Kevin Iole well in whatever he's doing next. I really appreciate his reportage of boxing and MMA because I feel that he's professional, asks insightful questions of the promoters and of the fighters. So he will be surely missed. I will miss his input about UFC, about MMA, about boxing. But yeah, Kevin Iole is definitely one of my favorite combat sport journalists. All right, welcome back, No. Thank you so much for joining us again. All right, guys, so we are getting ready to watch the co-main event of UFC 317. Kai Kara France is getting ready to step into the cage. Just got greased up by the cut man and checked out by the ref, or the official rather, so Kai Kara France is now in the cage. Yeah, no, I am definitely big into combat sports. You can see some of my own professional fights here on this channel. Look for all the purple thumbnails. Those are full fights. And they're professionally shot. They're not recorded on someone's cell phone. So, yeah, I was fortunate enough to have all my fights shot professionally because they were for broadcast TV. So they're broadcast quality. All right, Big Dog, thank you for rejoining us. Really appreciate you guys jumping back on. Who else is here? Just say hi so we know who's here. Good to have everybody. Welcome back to the co-main and main event of UFC 317. I hope you guys don't mind me breaking it up like that, but I just learned my lesson that if I go for like 2 hours, it's just like YouTube takes literally like the whole day, like all of Sunday to process the video before it gets posted to my channel. So it just seems to me like ridiculous. I don't understand why it takes that long for YouTube to process a live, but that's it. All right, so now we got Alex Pantoja making his way to the cage in his white sunglasses. Now here's an interesting factoid. You guys remember when Deontay Wilder said he lost to Tyson because his costume was too heavy? Remember that one? Well, a couple of us had this theory. I said it's actually not his costume being too heavy. It's because he wore that stupid mask with the red LEDs all the way around it. And I think that messed up it's not so much your vision, but it is like, you know, a lot of these guys say about getting red light in your eyes or getting blue light and it having effect on your brain and your central nervous system. Well, I think that, you know, wearing a mask or wearing sunglasses like that as you're making your ring walk or cage walk, I think that's a mistake because you want the light going into your eyes. You don't want to block the light or have red light there and then all of a sudden take that off and have your eyes exposed to every frequency, because especially in an arena like that, they're using mostly LED lights, and those LED lights are heavy on the blue end of the spectrum. Red is at the opposite end of the spectrum. So red is low frequency, blue and purple are high frequency. So all of a sudden, you know, Deontay Wilder takes off his goofy mask with the red light, and his eyes are bombarded with much higher energy frequencies. And I think that's what threw him up. It wasn't that his costume was heavy. It was like now he's just discombobulated because that wave energy goes through your eyes into your brain, and like that sudden change in frequency messed him up. Anyways, the other point of reference for that, and this is from Kathy Duva, who raised the point in live time while we were watching this fight, because she posted something on Twitter. Actually, her daughter posted on Twitter saying her mom said that. This reminded her of Roger Mayweather wearing sunglasses on his ring walk out to his fight, and then he wound up getting knocked out. So Kathy Duva called that before it happened with Deontay and Tyson. All right, so Kai Kara France with a very angry scowl on his face. All right, so we have Tommy. Is it Tommy? Ankit says, actually, the truth is, Fury's just better than him. Right, okay. Well, yes. I think that was the beginning of the end for Deontay, honestly. I think he might have been shot after their second fight, you know. But he was so shot when he fought Joseph Parker. It was pretty awful to watch. All right, guys, sorry. Just waiting for the stream to come back. Bruce Buffer was making his announcements. All right, Tony, I'm not a circus monkey, so I don't do tricks for likes, but, you know, maybe you can find another live streamer that will. We're just here to watch combat sport. In this case, it's UFC 317. Definitely not going to watch that boxing, so-called boxing event that's happening tonight. All right. Sorry, guys. I just lost my stream. Hang on one sec. All right. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to have to try to get my stream back. And I apologize in advance for all the flashing, but this is going to happen. Hey, big dog. What's up next? Kai Kara France and Pantoja. Just trying to get the stream back. It fell off. Right. All right, how are you doing? We're watching UFC 317. We're here to talk about the fights. We're not going to talk about so-called boxing tonight, but we are going to talk about MMA. We could talk about boxing in terms of Usyk, Dubois, too, or any other boxing fight other than the so-called joke of a fight that's happening tonight. Who do you guys have in the rematch with Tank and Lamont? Even though Lamont won the first one. I have no idea why they didn't call that a knockdown, but they didn't, so. Right, apologize for the delay, guys. Again, I had this stream up, but it just fell off, so. All right, sorry guys, we're already 2 minutes into that first round. Right now they're on the ground. Pantoja has Kai Kara-France's back. He's got the body lock with his legs. Kai's fighting Pantoja's hands. Not a good position for Kai because Pantoja's... Okay, now he's rolled him a couple times. He's on top in half guard. He's got Kai's head and arm going for that choke. Head and arm choke. He's passed, so now he's in full mount. Good scramble by Kai on the bottom. But right. Pantoja's still maintaining top position. He's in half guard. Kai's trying to cover up on the bottom. Pantoja just needs to be patient here. He's kind of in half guard, sort of side control position. Pantoja's using his head and shoulders to stay heavy on Kai. Keep him on his back, flat on his back. There's about 1.5 minutes to go, so. Pantoja can just stay here and be patient. It's really Kai Kara-France that has to make a move here to try to get out of this position. Pantoja's just being pretty conservative, using his shoulder to try to throw a shoulder in there. Pantoja's throwing in the... Every now and again he'll throw a shot at Kai's body or head. There he just went for a shot to the head. Interesting custom shorts that Pantoja has on. I'm not sure what the design is. Yeah, Pantoja using his head to apply pressure, throwing some knees to Kai's body. Just about 30 seconds to go here. He doesn't have to do anything significant. He could just stay here on top and maintain control, and he'll have won this round. Oh yeah, throwing shoulders. Kai is trying to throw an elbow from bottom. That's not going to be too effective. Kara-France scrambles up to all fours, but Pantoja rolls with him. He's got a body lock from behind now. And it's fortunate for Kai Kara-France that the bell when it did, because otherwise Pantoja could have just kept working for the rear naked choke. He had a really great body lock on him. All right. All right, if you're here joining us, welcome. This is our live stream for UFC 317. Pantoja's attitude is so funny. He's just, I wouldn't say he's disinterested, but he's just sort of blasé on the stool. I think they were telling him just stay on. I don't know what they were saying. And unfortunately, I couldn't hear what Kai Kara-France's corner was saying to him. All right. If you're here, please say hi. Hi, Wayne. Welcome. We're watching UFC 317. Kai Kara-France versus Alex Pantoja. Pantoja won that first round for sure. I wonder if Ankit's back on the stream, because Ankit likes to keep score for us too. Right, here we have Kai Kara-France kind of circling around. Both men fighting out of orthodox. Kai with a jab to the head, right hand to the body, doesn't connect. Pantoja with a jab. Both men fighting kind of cautiously here. Pantoja with a head kick doesn't connect at all. Kai with an inside kick. 4 minutes remaining. We're off to a very cautious second round start here. Pantoja with the double jab. Doesn't follow through though. Kai with single jabs. Pantoja goes with body kick and then a 1-2. Oh, and Pantoja counters Kai as Kai comes in for a jab to the body. Kai's the one moving around at the moment. He's getting tagged by Pantoja on his way in, and Pantoja surges, gets Kai Kara-France back down on the ground, right by the cage. So again, Pantoja's in Kai's full guard, full close guard. He's got both underhooks. Oh, actually, he has one underhook. Again, Pantoja's using his head to apply pressure. Now Pantoja's up on both feet. Staying heavy on Kai Kara-France. Looks like he's got the body lock from behind. Drags Kai Kara-France back down. Still got the body lock. They're both on their feet. Pantoja hooks a leg, goes for a single leg grip. Tries to get a takedown, but it doesn't work, so the men circle out towards center cage. Kai keeps swinging big, hard jab right hands, but sometimes he's missing with that right hand. I think the other problem here is Kai's always bending over to his right. He's putting his head down, so Pantoja can kind of read where Kai's head's going to wind up. Hello, Jim. How are you doing? We are watching UFC 317. It's the co-main event, second round. Kai Kara-France versus Alex Pantoja. Right now, I think probably most of us would have Pantoja up one round. Got a minute and a half to go here. I think Pantoja has this round as well. Thus far. Men in a clinch. Neither on the cage. Kai has Alex up against the cage. They spin off. Pantoja really knows how to use his head to apply pressure. Hi, Islam. How are you doing? Oliveira. Okay. All right. Nice 1-2 by Pantoja. Kai with the jab to the body. Problem is when he does his jab to the body, he always drops his head way over to the right. It's a little bit predictable as to where his head's going to go. Kai tries feinting. Jim says, Van might be next for a title fight. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of moving him a little bit quick, but I would say give him a couple more fights just so he gets more rounds under his belt first before you throw him in there for a title fight. But I'm not the UFC management, UFC, so they're the ones that'll make the decision. But it's a terrific fight. How are you doing tonight, Jim? It's good to have you here. Hey guys, if you're here, please say hi so we know who's on the stream. Welcome to this live for UFC 317. This is the co-main event. We're about to approach the halfway mark here. We're going into the third round. My name's DHamaguchi. I'm a judoka, former U.S. champion, and I'm also a pro boxer. So I like to do breakdowns about combat sport. You can check out my pre-fight and post-fight breakdowns. The pre-fights are always blue and red thumbnail, and the post-fights are blue thumbnail. These lives are always this sort of gold color thumbnail. And if you want to see some of my fights, those are purple thumbnails. So check those out on the channel when you get a chance. All right, guys, we're about to head into this third round. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, I'm being distracted by a cat. Oh, 1 sec. I have to let the cat in. Alright, so here we go. Third round. Again, Pantoja has body lock on Kai. Kai's facing the cage. Pantoja has the body lock and one hook in. He's trying to get Kai down to the ground. How do I think Moreno versus Van would break down? I think, you know, I think Moreno has too much experience for Van. I mean, Van's a terrific boxer, but we haven't seen him tested in all dimensions. All right, this does not look good for Kai because Pantoja has the body lock with his legs locked in figure 4. Right now, Kai's fighting Pantoja's hands and trying to hit him, but it's not very effective when your back's take. It's not very effective to just try to hit behind your own head. So again, we're 3.5 minutes in, or 3.5 minutes remaining. So Pantoja can just be patient. Now he's going for the rear naked choke. Can't tell if it's in, but he's got one arm under. Now he can just keep applying pressure. Kai's fighting the hands and he taps. That's it. And still. I think Kai might have almost gone out because he's just lying there prone on his front. Oh no, he's not out. He's just exhausted. Okay. Wow. Complete domination by Alex Pantoja. Terrific conditioning by Pantoja for sure. And outstanding grappling. Dan is saying he wants Pantoja next. I don't think he's ready for that though. I think we need to see more dimensions with him. Oh, Brandon Moreno, I didn't even recognize him. He looks kind of fluffy. All right, guys, welcome to our live stream. We're watching UFC 317. That was the co-main event. Alex Pantoja just made Kai Kara-France tap out to a rear naked choke about halfway through the third round. So, yeah, I mean, Pantoja was just dominating in on the ground for the first 2 rounds. So he had the body lock and the lockdown, meaning he had, yeah, and then he just slowly worked in that rear naked choke. That's an interesting proposal, though, Jim. Moreno versus Van. Like I said, I want to see a little more from Van first before he gets thrown in there for a title fight. But yeah, Jim, I would agree with you. Kai needs to work on his ground game. He also needs to stop always putting his head over to the right in the striking. I think he just learned something there. Hopefully that fight was a learning experience for him, and he uses that to elevate his game. All right, that was really artful by Alex Pantoja. Be interested to hear what Joe Rogan has to say to him. All right, who's here? We got Jim, we got Islam. Is Ankit, are you here? Big Dog, are you here? I think we got No, who's into fishing. Who else is here? Please say hi so we can welcome you to our live stream. My name's DHamaguchi. I'm a combat sport athlete. I also do a lot of breakdowns of pre and post fight for boxing and UFC fights. I don't say MMA because I don't really do too much outside the UFC. Every now and again there might be something that Ryzen does. Okay, Ankit, good to see you. Thanks for jumping back on. I'm glad you're here. You're still here. Awesome. All right, who else? Salai? You're a winner, Joshua Van. Yeah. All right, so Rogan's just breaking down how Pantoja got that rear naked choke. Yeah, Joshua Van looked great. I mean, his boxing skills are excellent. I just want to see him in the other dimensions of MMA. Like, want to see him in there with someone who throws more kicks, or even someone who's got a slightly higher striking IQ than Royval. We also want to see him in his ground game, in his takedown game. You can't count on. All right, Rogan's now mentioning Van. Oh, so they're bringing Van into the cage. This is interesting. They're saying he's next in line, so maybe he does. I don't know by beating Royval if he earned that shot, but. Oh, wow. So they're saying he is next. Well, I don't know. I don't think Joshua's quite ready for Alex Pantoja, but if he earned the shot, he earned the shot. So. But the thing is, even if Josh Van doesn't win, he's only 23, and it'll be a great learning experience for him. So he wins in that sense. If he's got good management and it's a pay-per-view, he might even win. He might even make some money off the pay-per-view. So it could be a good paycheck for Josh Van in any case. All right, so up next we have the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. So who do you guys have? You got Ilia. Do you think Ilia can just move up and take the belt? Or do you figure Charles has got too much for him? And Charles is certainly the bigger guy, that's for sure. This is great. We got Donald Cowboy Cerrone in the building. Why is Theo Vaughn on camera? I don't know. It's some dude with red hair. We got Jamal Murray. Oh, Vitor Belfort. And some other dude. Paddy Pimblett. Looking a little fluffy. Hopefully he's not 200 pounds. And they're cutting over to Tom Aspinall, whose dad was salty about how they announced him as the new champion. Izzy was sitting right behind him. But so much for who's in the crowd over there. Who's here on our live stream? Say hi so we know you're here. You guys bet? I find it interesting that now it's okay for broadcasters to talk about, you know, the betting odds. I guess because DraftKings is one of their major sponsors, so they do that. They do that with UFC and with boxing. So it's an interesting change. You didn't used to be able to do that in sports, right? You have to go to the off-track betting place or something. Or go to your bookie and do it illegally. All right. We have Lou. Hi, watching the fights? Yeah, we're watching UFC 317. Is that what you're watching? The main event is about to start. Who do you guys have, Charles or Ilia? I'm going to root for Charles, but I think Ilia could pull it off. Do you like how Charles's team all got their hair bleached? Oh, now they're doing an ad for Power Slap. Do you guys watch any of that? Okay, cool. Glad you're watching UFC 317. Jim, not sure who wins. Okay. Lou says you put some money on the fights. Did you bet on Ilia or did you bet on Charles? Ankit. Crazy take. Charles knocks out Ilia within 2 rounds. That would be interesting. He definitely has a size advantage, so, and he's got good pop on his punches, so it is possible. But then the other factor is like just how much damage has Charles taken over the years. As long as he's in great condition, though, that can count that, you know, that can counter that. You bet on who? All right. Alec Kumar. Yeah, we're watching UFC 317. You bet on Van? Oh, okay. Well, then you made some money, right? You don't expect Ilia to beat Islam if he does win. I mean, Islam went up, though, didn't he? Okay, guys. Fight week in Las Vegas. It must be a lot of fun to be there. Have you guys ever gone to Vegas? I mean, it's a fun city. The cool thing is you can find like inexpensive hotels to stay out there just because they want you to spend all your money on gambling and lose it. You know, you can find inexpensive hotels and inexpensive decent food. Because all the casinos just want to lure you in there to lose your money on the machines or on the tables. Alok Kumar has Ilia. Okay. All right, they're doing some B-roll of Ilia highlights. Doing some Charles highlights. Really good matchmaking on the part of the UFC, I think, in this case. Please tell me none of you guys tuned in for that boxing thing that happened with one of those brothers. Jim says, oh yes, I forgot. Jack de la Madalena won against Bilal. Islam is his next fight, right? So, I mean, I don't know that they officially announced that or not, but he earned that shot, right? That was a great win. A lot of props to Jack de la Madalena for that win. I don't know if he was a betting favorite or not, but that was a great fight, and it was a great win by him. All right, guys, if you are here on our live stream, welcome. We're watching UFC 317. We're about to see the main event between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. So please drop a hi in the chat so we know who's here and we can welcome you to our live stream. Anybody else want to put down their virtual bet on Ilia or Charles? Tell us who you think wins. Ankit said he went out there on a limb and said Charles within 2. What do the rest of you guys have? Do you have Ilia or do you have Charles? I'm rooting for Charles. I found it interesting that Chael Sonnen said that the crowd in Vegas was definitely a pro-Charles crowd. So I think he's a super popular fighter with good reason. I mean, he's personable. He's been through so much, you know, as a youngster and as a young person, just working his way out of the favela. It's an incredible story. It's hard not to root for a guy like that. Ankit said yes. Prediction for the third time. Okay. Yeah, I kind of repeat myself a bit, Ankit. Sorry, I know you're here for the whole time, but some people come in and out, so I don't know where they're at. All right, so now we got Oliveira making his walk to the cage. Looks very calm. Acknowledges the crowd. Doing his little high knee jog, walking out with his both hands up. It's almost like he's got Fighting Nerds glasses on, except he doesn't have the masking tape in the middle. All right, Charles hugging up his corner. All right, what do you guys think? Is Charles going to knock out Ilia or submit Ilia, or can Ilia just knock out Charles? Who else do we have here, you guys? We're watching UFC 317. The main event is about to step into the cage. Welcome to our live stream. We're here to watch this main event of UFC 317 together. So please give us your thoughts as the fight unfolds. Okay, Charles is acknowledging the crowd with his arms outstretched as he steps into the cage. We get a shot of his wife and kids. Nice custom-made trunks. Charles is just so big after he rehydrates. Well, he's big even before he rehydrates height-wise, but Lou says Ilia to win. Okay. So it looks like we've got a bit of a split crowd here. Everybody else is welcome to chime in and let us know who you got winning the main event. All right, the lights go down in the arena. Start to bring the lights back up. Looks like they're doing red and yellow for Topuria. All right, seems to be a bit of a build-up here. A Lots of red and yellow lights. And they cut to Ilia on his walkout. Making his way to the cage. Now he steps out into the arena. Ilia breaks into a little bit of a jog here. Ilia disrobing. He's got some real interesting custom-made tights, red and yellow. All right, Ilia getting greased up by the cut man. All right, guys, if you're here on a live stream, please say hi so we know you're here. And welcome to our live stream. We're about to watch the main event of UFC 317. It is Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira. Looks like Oliveira is the crowd favorite. I'm not sure. It's hard to say who's the betting favorite. All right, Topuria about to enter the cage. Who says parlay with Ilia 480 to win? Okay, interesting. Okay, Ilia's in the cage. Charles Oliveira's in the cage. We're about to get this on. Main event of UFC 317. Alright, Ilia's taking a little drink of water, calmly walking around in the cage. Ilia's 28, Charles is 35. Charles has a 3-inch height advantage. They both weighed in at about the same, 155. And Charles has a 5-inch reach advantage. This is all according to the stats. Of course, the stats don't matter. What matters is how you use your height and your reach. All right, and Bruce Buffer is announcing the two fighters. Oliveira walking back and forth. Looks pretty calm. Alright, now Bruce Buffer's finally going to start the announcements. UFC 317 main event, Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira. Remember, if you guys, if you're enjoying the live streams and you're enjoying the breakdowns, you're always welcome to leave a super chat or a super thanks. Or, if you like, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com and purchase a coffee. Every penny counts, every penny helps, so it's all appreciated. right, so Bruce Buffer's announcing Charles Oliveira first. All right, Bruce drawing out the announcements. Now he's announcing Ilia. Found it interesting that Charles came in half a pound light, but you know, I don't know if that was a miscalculation on the part of him or his part of on the part of his team. But in any case, if you're doing a hard weight cut, I don't know, just half a pound is a lot when you're at the limit, you know. All right, here we go. The men come to center cage. They hug it up. Ref is giving their final instructions. They touch gloves and head back to their side of the cage. All right, we're about to get it underway. Will Charles be able to use his height and reach advantage to tag up Ilia? Or will Ilia make great use of his excellent boxing skills to slip the strikes and get inside and put it on Charles? Right away, center cage, we get right at it. Ilia throws a 1-2. They don't waste any time on the outside here. Charles starts with his calf kicks right away. Ilia with hard jabs and a hard 1-2. Charles with a hard right hand. Both men fighting out of orthodox stance. This means the classic boxing will work. Charles shoots in for a double, doesn't get it. Gets underhooks, walks Ilia back to the cage. Ilia's defending this well, has a wizard grip. Has that sideways stance on the cage. Oliveira just using a little pressure. Gets Ilia down, but Ilia reverses the position, and now Ilia has top position. He's inside Charles's full closed guard. Ilia passes guard, gets Charles in side control, puts his shin over Charles's arm. Can't tell what. Oh, we got a leg. This is a tough one. Charles has leg from bottom, but Ilia gets out. Charles is maintaining that sort of lace. Ilia gets out. Charles is on his back. Ilia is standing. Not going to go into his guard, so he's just kicking Charles's legs. All right, ref stands them both back up. Again, both are fighting out of orthodox. Oh, Ilia lands a good 1-2-1-2. Charles closes distance and clinches for a moment. They break apart. Charles with the right uppercut. Ilia with the jab to the body, jab to the head. Oh my gosh, that's it. He drops Charles. A right hand and goes to a ground and pound. That's it. Holy cow. Ilia with the first round KO. That's amazing. I did not see that coming, guys. What can I say? I would not have bet on Ilia with the first round KO. Terrific boxing technique by Ilia Topuria. That's amazing. He moved up a weight division and takes the title in his first fight. That's crazy. But good for him. Amazing. I don't know what the odds were for that, but I guess if you bet on Ilia by KO in round 1, you made some money tonight. Okay, so it was a right hand. Oh, it was a jab. Opened it up. Jab, right. Perfect short right, left hook. Okay. So it was classic boxing. Jab, right hand, left hook. And that's it. Yeah. It was that short straight right that really put Charles out. So he was already out, and then he comes with the left hook. The left hook landed obliquely, but it didn't matter. The left hook just helped knock him down. Because the short right landed completely square, and that left hook just finished it. So he was out. You could see his eyes rolling back in his head. Pantoja. Illy got in one hammer fist, and the ref just pushed him off. Wow. Oh, congrats. Excuse me. Congratulations, you won your bet. Nice job. Did you bet on Ilia to win, or did you bet on Ilia to win first round KO? All right, so the guys are hugging it up now. I don't know what Charles is saying to him, but I'm sure they're acknowledging each other. It seemed to be respectful going into the fight. So they're talking to each other. That's wonderful. As DC is saying, they're talking into their hands, so you can't get caught on camera. Oh, nice. Okay, well, yeah, big congratulations. Lose the big time winner tonight. That's cool. Incredible. Incredible. I would not have guessed that Ilya would have won like that. Wow. Wow, just after halfway into the first round. So huge congrats to Ilia Topuria. That was crazy. Shows you that boxing matters in the MMA game, right? That was just a classic boxing combination. He threw it properly. He didn't throw it like wild or anything. And the way he threw those punches, they're educated, meaning he's done that type of thing in sparring. That's not something you can get just from hitting the bag or from doing mitts. All right, so Joe's asking him why Ilia thought he was going to be able to knock Charles out in the first round. Yes, Jim, it was definitely very abrupt. As soon as he found a home for that jab, basically what he did was he split the guard, landed the jab, then he knew he could do it again, so he landed the jab, right hand, left hook. I mean, that's just classic boxing, right? Once you find a home for your jab, you know what command, you know where the distance is, and then you start to put your punches together. That's exactly what he did. This isn't going to work. Yeah, the hook didn't even need to land. It sort of just hit kind of oblique on Charles' shoulder and head, because he was already out from that short right hand, I think. Logan is saying something about him having personal issues with Paddy Pimblett. Paddy's smiling on camera, rubbing his hands together. Rogan's calling for Paddy to come in the cage. I'm not so sure I'm a big fan of this. It reminds me too much of boxing. Paddy's definitely taller than him. Paddy's saying you can't knock me out. Paddy says, I finish you, and then Ilia shoves him. I don't know. See, this is why I don't like people calling out the next guy into the cage of the ring.
That is going to be an incredible fight, but what's important now is just recognizing your accomplishment. You just became a two-division world champion. It is spectacular.
Yeah, this is too theatrical for me. I don't believe in that. It's like, I don't know, contrived. Anyways. Did you guys enjoy the fight? That was incredible. For as long as it lasted. That's crazy. Ilia's a world champion, or a UFC champion, in his first fight in the division. That is crazy. It's unbelievable. Jim says Paddy won't fight him next. I mean, that's a weird matchup in my opinion. I don't know that Paddy's earned the shot, you know what I mean? Alright guys, look, got a couple more minutes and then I think we're going to call it an evening. Any final thoughts about the CoMain, about the main, about fights coming up that you're looking forward to? Yeah, that I was not expecting that in the main event. I'm surprised, but that's cool. It was a great fight, short but great. Yeah. Any more final thoughts? I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to put up some comments, and then I think we're going to call it an evening. I'm interested to hear what Charles said to him after the fight. All right, my friends, well, we hit just 1 hour with the CoMain and main, so I think I'm going to call it an evening. Thank you so much, especially those of you who joined us for the first part of the live and this part of the live. I hope you guys had fun. I did. It was a fun night of fights. It was fun watching it with you. Please do hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when our content gets posted. If you want to show your support for the channel, you can always leave a super chat or super thanks on one of the videos, or you can head over to buymeacoffee.com and purchase a coffee. If you'd also like early access to all our content and some exclusive members-only polls and whatnot, please consider joining the channel as a member. Right now, the entry-level Bronze World Champion memberships are still just $2.99 a month. So for that, you get early access, you get priority in terms of a reply from me on the comments. And you get a cool little emoji that shows up next to your name when we do these lives. You'll earn belt ranks starting right away with white belt. So that's always kind of fun. You'll get promoted to yellow belt after 30 days. You get automatically promoted. You don't have to pass a test. All right, so thank you again for joining me on this live, and we will see you the next time. Good night for now.